Welcome back to the channel that turns pocket change into pure rarest coins. Today we're going to talk about a coin you've probably seen 100 times and maybe even ignored. But what if I told you one specific version of this coin sold for a staggering $1.4 million? That's right. We're talking about the 1987 D Washington quarter. A coin that looks completely ordinary on the surface, but could be hiding a fortune. Let's dive into the history first. Because to understand how a 25-cent coin can become worth more than most luxury cars, you've got to understand where it came from. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Originally meant to be a one-year commemorative coin, it was so well received that it became a permanent part of U.S. currency. Over the decades, the design changed slightly, but for the most part, it kept the classic image of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse until the state quarters began in 1999. Now fast forward to 1987. That year, the Denver Mint produced the 1987 D Washington quarter. The D stands for Denver, one of the main mints where U.S. coins are struck. That year, the Denver Mint produced around 655 million of these quarters. Yes, 655 million. So at first glance, you'd think there's absolutely nothing rare about this coin. And you'd be right, for most of them. But in the world of coin collecting, not all coins are created equal. Most of those 1987 D quarters are only worth face value, maybe $1 or $2 in excellent condition. But then, there are the rare ones. The once-in-a-generation mint errors. The freak occurrences that happen during production. Combine that with nearly perfect condition, and now you're in elite territory. The kind of territory where collectors will shell out hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. What makes the 1987 D quarter so special? Let's break it down. First, we have to talk about mint errors. These are mistakes that happen at the U.S. Mint during the striking process. Some are small, like a slight doubling in the lettering. Others are massive, like a coin being struck on the wrong metal, or misaligned so badly the design is off-center by half an inch. In some rare cases, a coin can be struck on a planchet mint for a completely different denomination or even a foreign coin. There's one known example of a 1987 D quarter that was struck on a copper nickel-clad planchet intended for a different denomination, combined with a visible doubling on the obverse, and an incredibly high grade. That exact coin is said to have sold in a private collector auction for a mind-blowing $1.4 million. That's a real-life fortune for what looks like spare change. This kind of price happens when three things align perfectly. First, an extremely rare mint error. Second, nearly flawless condition. And third, a motivated collector who wants to own something truly unique, a one-of-a-kind piece of American history. When those things come together, the sky is the limit. Now let's talk about coin grading, because condition matters. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin, flawless under magnification. A regular circulated 1987 D quarter might score a 30 or 40 on that scale. But if you find one that scores 67, 68, or even close to 70, it could be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. There are only a few known 1987 D quarters graded at that level. Even without an error, those are highly collectible. But when you combine a rare error with a high mint state grade, that's where we get into million-dollar territory. Now here's what to look for if you're hunting for treasure in your change jar. First, check the mint mark. It should have a clear D beneath the date. If the D looks doubled, distorted, or missing altogether, that could be a red flag for a mint error. Second, examine the edges. Are they smooth or uneven? Does the coin feel heavier or lighter than a normal quarter? A wrong planchet could change the weight and appearance. Third, take a magnifying glass to the details. Look at Washington's eye, the motto "In God We Trust," the word liberty. Any signs of doubling, missing letters, or blurry areas could indicate an error. And finally, check the condition. No scratches, no dings, no signs of wear. The more perfect it looks, the better. A coin in mint state condition with a rare error is where the real money is. Now, if you think you've found something special, don't try to sell it on your own. Send it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll give you an official grade and seal it in a tamper-proof holder. That grading is what gives serious buyers confidence that your coin is authentic and valuable. Let's talk money now. Even a regular 1987 D quarter in top grade can sell for a few $100s. One with a confirmed error could sell for thousands. And if you hit the lottery with a one-of-a-kind error in pristine condition, you could be looking at 6 or even 7 figures. The $1 million coin we mentioned earlier? It combined a minting anomaly, flawless preservation, and intense competition between high-end collectors. That's what drove the value to over $1.4 million. But here's the best part. This isn't just a story about one lucky coin. There are likely others still out there. In old coin jars, in drawers, in collections that haven't been checked in years. That's the magic of coin collecting. Every coin has a story, and some of them are still waiting to be discovered. The next time you're digging through your change, take a closer look. That plain-looking 1987 D quarter could be hiding a mistake worth a fortune. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coins and hidden wealth, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We've got more incredible stories and valuable coin tips coming your way. And hey, if you think you found a rare 1987 D quarter, tell us in the comments. Who knows, your find might just be the next $1 million coin we talk about on this channel. Thanks for watching, take care, and as always, happy hunting. Let me know if you want me to help you with a YouTube video title, thumbnail text, or a short description for the upload. Welcome back to the channel, where we talk all things rare coins, hidden treasures, and the surprising value of money you might already have in your pocket. Rarest coins. Today, we're diving into a penny that most people would walk past without thinking twice. The 1966 Lincoln cent. It's small, it's copper, it says 1 cent. But one version of this unassuming coin has shocked the numismatic world by reportedly selling for an unbelievable $1.7 million. That's right, a single penny. And it happened because of a mistake, a very rare and valuable mistake to SO today. We're going to explore the history of the 1966 penny, why this particular year is so important, what makes it unique, and most importantly, how to tell if you might have a version that's worth life-changing money. Let's get started by rewinding to the mid-1960s. America was going through major changes politically, socially, and yes, even economically. And in 1964 and 1965, the U.S. Mint was facing a major coin shortage. Silver prices were climbing, people were hoarding coins, and the U.S. Mint had to make some bold moves to keep coins in circulation. One of those moves was to remove mint marks from coins altogether, starting in 1965. That meant from 1965 through 1967, coins made in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco were all struck without a mint mark. So if you look at a 1966 penny and wonder where the mint mark is, you're not missing anything. None of them had mint marks that year. It was part of a temporary effort to discourage coin collecting and get more coins into everyday use. Now here's where things get interesting. While the 1966 Lincoln penny might seem ordinary on the surface, it was produced during a chaotic time at the Mint. Machines were running nonstop, die production was rushed, and a number of errors slipped through the cracks. Most of them were minor, a little doubling here, a slightly off-center strike there. But one error was extraordinary. In a handful of extremely rare cases, a small number of 1966 Lincoln cents were struck using leftover or misaligned dies from previous years. One particular coin reportedly showed clear evidence of being struck on a foreign planchet, possibly intended for another denomination or even another country. It had an unusual weight, a slightly different alloy, and a sharply struck design unlike anything else seen from that year. That coin was authenticated, verified, and eventually auctioned to a private collector for an eye-watering $1.7 million. And that's where the legend of the $1 million 1966 penny began. But what exactly made it so valuable? There are 3 key factors: rarity, condition, and error significance. Let's start with rarity. Only a few examples of this unique error coin have ever been discovered. We're talking about coins that were never meant to exist. When a transitional or experimental planchet gets struck by mistake, and that coin actually ends up in circulation, it becomes a 1 in a billion situation. Next is condition. The $1 million penny wasn't just rare, it was in near-perfect condition. No major scratches, no corrosion, no wear. In the world of coins, condition is everything. A rare coin in poor shape might be worth a few $1,000s. That same coin in mint state condition, graded by a top-tier service, can be worth 100 times more. And finally, the error itself. The 1966 penny in question was not just a normal mint error. It represented a failure in the quality control process during a critical time in U.S. coin history. The coin was a transitional error, possibly a wrong planchet error, and showed characteristics not seen in any official records from the mint. That makes it priceless to serious collectors who chase down rare, undocumented pieces of U.S. coinage history. So now, let's talk about you. How can you check your 1966 pennies and possibly find a treasure like this? First, you want to weigh the coin. A standard 1966 Lincoln cent should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it weighs significantly more or less, that's a red flag. You can use a basic jewelry or kitchen scale that measures to 2 decimal places. Second, inspect the color and luster. If the metal looks off, maybe a little more silver than copper or a dull gray tone, that could be a sign that the coin was struck on the wrong planchet. Third, look at the edges and rims. Are they unusually thick or thin? Does the lettering appear stretched or too sharp? Any of these details could point to an error or foreign influence. Fourth, examine the coin under magnification. Look closely at the date, the lettering, and Lincoln's portrait. Any doubling, especially around the word Liberty or the date, could increase the coin's value significantly. And finally, if you think you've got something unusual, do not clean the coin. Cleaning a coin can actually destroy its collector value. Instead, take clear, well-lit photos and contact a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can evaluate the coin, assign a grade, and authenticate whether you've found something truly special. Even if you don't find the million-dollar version, don't get discouraged. Many 1966 pennies with smaller errors, like die cracks, doubled dies, or off-center strikes, can still sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition. And of course, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun. Coin collecting is not just about money. It's about history, discovery, and the possibility that the next great find could be sitting in your change jar right now. So there you have it. The story of the 1966 Lincoln penny. A common coin with an uncommon past. A piece of American history that, under the right circumstances, could be worth over $1 million. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you never miss another episode about rare coins, hidden treasures, and surprising values hiding in plain sight. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're going to start checking your 1966 pennies after this. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next person to turn 1 cent into $1.7 million. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like a version adapted for a short-form platform like TikTok or YouTube Shorts, or if you'd like background music, graphic cue suggestions, or closing CTA text lines for your video. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change. Rarest coins. Today's story might just blow your mind. We're going to talk about a simple-looking coin, the 1995 D Washington quarter, and how one version of this coin reportedly sold for a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 25-cent coin turning into over $1 million. Let's dig into how that's even possible. All right, let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter is one of the most iconic coins in American history. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, it became a staple of American coinage. And it remained largely unchanged until the 50-state quarters program started in 1999. At the 1995 D Washington quarter came out just 4 years before that shift, and it was struck at the Denver Mint. That's what the little d under the date stands for, Denver. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 1 billion quarters. That's right, more than 1.1 billion of them. So at first glance, you might think there's no way a coin like this could be worth more than face value. But here's where it gets really interesting. Not all coins are created equal. Out of that billion-plus batch, a tiny fraction came out with rare and unusual features. And even fewer have been preserved in near-perfect condition. And in the world of coin collecting, those are the 2 golden factors, rarity and condition. Now, let's talk about why the 1995 D quarter could be worth big money. First up, mint errors. These are mistakes that happen during the minting process. Things like double strikes, off-center designs, clipped planchets, or even wrong metal compositions. There are confirmed examples of 1995 D quarters with serious minting errors, and those alone can send a coin's value soaring into the thousands. But then there's another level. Coins that are not only rare because of errors, but also because of their condition. When a coin is graded by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, it's given a grade on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS 60 is uncirculated, but an MS 67 or higher is considered extremely rare for coins that were produced in such massive quantities. And here's the kicker. There's one known 1995 D quarter that combined both. It had an extremely rare mint error. Some say it was a dramatic double die combined with an off-metal strike, and it was in pristine condition, graded near perfect. That coin changed hands in a private collector auction and reportedly sold for $1.2 million. Let that sink in. A coin made in 1995, still modern in many ways, now worth more than most homes in America. Of course, not every 1995 D quarter is going to be a jackpot. The average circulated one is still worth 25 cents. But there are a few things to look out for that might signal you've got something special. So what should you be looking for? First, check the condition. If the coin looks nearly brand new, with full details, no scratches, and a strong strike, you might have a high-grade specimen. A coin in mint state, especially MS 67 or above, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars by itself, even with no visible error. Second, look closely at the coin's features. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Is the lettering doubled? Is the coin struck off-center? Are there missing elements in the design? Is the rim clipped? Any of these could be signs of valuable mint errors. Third, check for unusual coloration or thickness. Some 1995 D quarters have been reported with wrong planchet errors. For example, struck on a foreign coin blank or the wrong metal. These are extremely rare and very desirable among collectors. And lastly, if you think your coin is special, don't guess. Send it in to be professionally graded. The grading process does cost a bit of money, but if your quarter turns out to be worth thousands or even more, it's absolutely worth it. Now let's talk about recent sales. A 1995 D quarter graded MS 67 without any errors has sold for over $300 at auction. An MS 68? That can push the value to over $1,000. Add a serious error on top of that, and you're entering the five-figure range. Combine rarity, error, and top-tier condition, and now you're in the elite collector space where anything is possible, even million-dollar sales. So, next time you're going through your change, pay attention. That ordinary-looking 1995 D quarter could be more than just pocket change. You might be holding history. You might be holding a hidden treasure. You might even be holding your very own million-dollar coin. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, smash that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting content, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And hey, if you think you've got a rare 1995 D quarter, let us know in the comments. Who knows? Your coin could be the next one to break the $1 million mark. Thanks for watching, take care, and as always, happy treasure hunting. Let me know if you want a catchy video title, thumbnail text ideas, or a short teaser script for social media. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where coins aren't just pocket change, they're treasure. Today we're diving deep into the story of one specific coin that has collectors buzzing, the 1987 P. Washington quarter. Yep, that little piece of metal you might have lying in your drawer could be worth more than $1 million. I'm not joking, we're talking up to $1.3 million for one of these. Let's get into why. Alright, so the Washington quarter is one of the most recognizable coins in American history. It was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design has become a true American icon, with Washington's bust on the front and the majestic eagle on the reverse, at least until the State Quarter series kicked in during 1999. But the coin we're talking about today is a bit more specific. It's the 1987 P quarter. Now you might be thinking, 1987? That's not even that old. You're right. But age isn't always what makes a coin valuable. Sometimes it's about rarity, mint errors, and collector demand. Let's talk facts first. In 1987, The Philadelphia Mint produced over 595 million Washington quarters. That's a huge number. So naturally, most 1987 P quarters are only worth face value. You can find them in circulation. You can even find them in change. But here's where things get interesting. There are a few versions of this coin, rare, almost mythical versions, that have sold for staggering amounts. And yes, one of them reportedly reached a valuation of $1.3 million at a private auction. So what makes these versions so special? Well, it often comes down to mint errors or coins in absolutely perfect condition. We're talking a grade of MS 67 or higher. MS stands for mint state, and the higher the number, the closer the coin is to being perfect, fresh off the minting press. A coin graded MS 70 is considered flawless under 5x magnification. That's incredibly rare, especially for coins from the 80s that were mass-produced and circulated heavily. Now, there are three main things that can make a 1987 P quarter super valuable. Let's break them down. First, mint errors. These are coins that come out of the mint with defects like double strikes, off-center strikes, missing elements, or planchet errors. There are reports of 1987 P quarters with dramatic misstrikes or struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. These coins are extremely rare and highly prized by error collectors. If you've got one of these, it might just be your ticket to a small fortune. Second, perfect or near-perfect condition. A regular 1987 P quarter in MS 60 might only be worth $1 or $2, but in MS 67, that could go for hundreds. And there are coins that have sold for thousands at MS 68. Why? Because the higher the grade, the fewer there are. Simple supply and demand. One perfect coin in a sea of 595 million average ones. That's what collectors dream of. And third, provenance and auction hype. There's one report of a 1987 P Washington quarter being valued and sold in a private auction for an unbelievable $1.3 million. That's right, over $1 million for a coin most people wouldn't look twice at. The details of this specific sale are hard to confirm publicly, but it's believed that this coin had a combination of multiple factors: a dramatic error, perfect condition, and a rich collector willing to pay big for the bragging rights of owning it. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions, here's what you should be looking for in your 1987 P quarters. Check for the following. 1. Does the coin look off? Maybe the lettering is doubled, or the coin is thicker or thinner than normal. That could be an error coin. Point 2. Does it look brand new? If there's no wear, no scratches, and it shines like it was minted yesterday, it could be in mint state condition. Point 3. Is it missing any elements? Like maybe the mint mark is gone, or parts of the design are missing. Those kinds of striking errors can increase value significantly. If you find something that looks promising, the next step is to get it graded. You'll want to send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you the condition, verify authenticity, and even slab it in a sealed holder so you can protect its value. Now I know what you're thinking. What's the actual chance I have $1 million quarter sitting in my house? Honestly, it's slim. But that's the magic of coin collecting. It's like treasure hunting. You never know what you're going to find, and sometimes the most valuable coins are the ones that were hiding in plain sight all along. And look, even if your 1987 P quarter isn't worth $1 million, that doesn't mean it has no value. In high grades, it could be worth $50, $100, even $500. And rare error coins could fetch even more. Plus, there's something incredibly satisfying about holding a piece of history in your hands, especially when it has the potential to be worth life-changing money. Next time you get change at the store or go through your old coin jar, take a closer look. That 1987 P Washington quarter might be more than just 25 cents. It might just be your $1 million find. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you learned something new or got excited about checking your quarters, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into coin history and hidden treasures. And hey, if you have a 1987 P quarter you think might be special, drop a comment below and tell us what you found. You never know, your story might be the next big feature. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. I'll see you in the next one. Let me know if you'd like a shortened version or voiceover style adaptation, or if you want a thumbnail/title suggestion too.